Centennial.
Yes.
Really?
No, I haven't. But
Okay. Mr. Butler, I believe you have an inspiration for us this morning?
What do I?
It'll take a minute.
I am inspired right now. I forgot that we have Rotary.
How about a microphone trip?
Okay, thanks. You gotta figure out what you're gonna say. No thanks. No, I got a good one. Yeah.
I can tell.
Okay. Good morning. How enlightened are you? If you can live without caffeine, if you can be cheerful, ignoring aches and pains, if you can resist complaining, if you can understand when your loved ones are too busy to give you any time, if you can take criticism and blame without resentment, if you can ignore a friend's limited education and never correct him or her, if you can resist treating a rich friend better than a poor friend, if you can face the world without lies and deceit, if you can conquer tension without medical help, if you can relax without liquor, if you can sleep without the aid of drugs, you can honestly say that deep in your heart you have no prejudice against creed, color, religion, gender preference, or politics, then you have almost reached the same level of spiritual development as your dog.
You haven't met my dogs, Trip.
that was funny.
Tom Gross, would you lead us in the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I wonder if the SPCA has something against that. Mr. Ostergaard, do you have a Rotary Minute for us?
Yes, I do. President Tim, thank you. I wanted to take an opportunity here to discuss the King Soopers gift card situation. As most of you know, announced at the annual meeting of the foundation that King Soopers and their parent Kroger have decided to do away with that program. The last of those have been sold that we had, and I hope I can get a lot of you, like all of you, to switch over to the new program. The new program is tied to your King Soopers card, the one that you use to get your for sale discounts and everything you plug in at the cash register. You have to go online and register your card if you have not done so already. If it already is, you can go in, log in, and you will select which you want to tie, which organization you want to tie your card to. And we are now officially registered in that program, and I have done it, and if I can do it, I'm pretty sure 90% of you can do it. So, although I did have to have my wife's help, so give credit where credit's due. There are two questions I am sure I'm going to get asked. I'll try to preempt those. How much do we make? I have no idea. I'm hoping that if we have a majority of the club participating, we will get back to the 5% that we had under the old program. But it doesn't say. So I have no idea how much we're going to make. The other question is I know many of you bought from another organization as well as this foundation. And the question will arise that, can I split with another club or another organization? It doesn't appear that you can do that. You can only select one. Because if you go in and register for another club, it switches to that other organization. So you can switch. If you want to go through the trouble of switching back and forth, be my guest. But for a lot of people, that's too much trouble. But Anyway, that's the status of the new King Soopers program. We are continuing to sell Sprouts. I can get Safeway if we're interested. So we'll discuss that Friday at the board meeting, the foundation board meeting. The $5,000 that we had committed for King Soopers, we've got available to use in other programs. So we'll discuss that and see if you're interested. Please let me know and either email me or come up and tell me. But I'd like to know if you're interested in pursuing Safeway, because I can get those through the same organization I buy Sprouts from. Anyway, there's your Rotary Minute.
Thanks so much, Kent. Just, Kent worked awful hard on the past project, so let's just continue on with it. It's a nice, steady little trickle of funds that goes back into the foundation. Ann West, do you have a business minute for us?
I sure do.
Whoops.
I did. Hopefully, most of you know that I am a travel agent specializing in cruises and tours. I've been a master cruise counselor for 20 years plus, and I've lost track of the number of cruises I've taken. Recently, we returned from Alaska, and where my husband took these pictures, so I'll show you them. Alaska is well known for wildlife. This particular cruise, which was my third, I saw more wildlife than on previous cruises. And there I am pouring on the champagne on the form. That's the wildlife, right? I did not put these in order. I did not put these in order. Everybody asked me, did you see whales? Yes, we saw whales. We also saw sea lions, harbor seals, which was the previous picture, and sea otters. Now, sea otters, when you're up on the top of a ship, look like that big, but then you get out your binoculars and they're so cute. Alaska there's of course food. There's our whales. Alaska is a good reason to go is wildlife, such as the whales. Majestic scenery. I love mountains, and we were just surrounded by them. And glacier viewing, which I think we're going to get to somewhere here. Nope, more wildlife. Come on. What am I doing wrong here? There we are. Glacier viewing. We actually were at Hubbard Glacier, which I had never been to before, in Glacier Bay, which was my third trip. And also, there we are, wildlife. Yep. And then, do I point it here? The natives. This is this is Saxon's Village, and they put on dances for you. And this darling little girl was looking up at probably her grandpa, and that was the highlight of that particular stop. And Saxon's Village has mainly Tlingit, but they have a couple other tribes there. Come on. Do I have to point it at something? That's the end. Okay. I thought we had more.
It's called a business minute, Ann.
It is called that. My husband says, talk about the Mediterranean too. I said, no, it's a minute. We were on Princess Cruises, which many people in the industry think is the best. And there are only three cruise lines that go to Glacier Bay. And I will recommend Princess every time. Unless you want luxury and want to spend a lot of money, and I'll be glad to help you with that.
Thanks, Ann. Okay, I do want to thank Paul Fitzler and John Wexler, and in advance Tom Buck for helping with the setup and takedown today. Karen, thanks for greeting. Tripp, thanks for that lovely inspiration. I'll talk to my dogs about that later. Tom, best pledge I've heard all week. And John Barry, thanks so much for taking over for me last week. I did have a business engagement that I could not get out of. And so John very graciously on Monday accepted the responsibility. So thanks, John. Appreciate it. We do have two guests today. One is Cale Mages. Cale, second time here, so hopefully it'll be like the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all that kind of stuff. And then Kathy Jansky. Would you stand up for a second, Kathy? And introduce yourself. Good morning. Introduce yourself.
I'm Kathy Jansky. I'm verifying what he said.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, Kathy has put in her membership paperwork. I may have to call a special meeting of the board to get you on board in my year.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I need to do anything?
Would you like to tell people a little bit about yourself?
Well, hi, I'm Kathy Jansky. I was born in Butte, Montana, and my family moved here in 1956, and I talk so loud at work. I don't. Oh, you have to do? No, I do? Okay. Thank you. I'm really I've been stalking you on Facebook for a couple years, and I decided that I really like your community service. I think that's really important. I'm a magistrate in the 18th Judicial District, and I'm in Littleton, so I probably... I just came out of the felony division, and I didn't want to embarrass you. But I really love my job, and I think I do community service every day in my position, but this gives me a chance to really do some hands-on things. So I'm really excited to meet everybody, and I appreciate you buying my breakfast this morning. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, I'll get on to some club business here. First off, I did get, oh, yes, I'm sorry. I have you on my list. Doug? You're on my list, Doug.
Well, I have to leave in
You
just
have
a
to
few
leave
minutes.
now?
So,
Okay, go ahead.
the shirts are here. If you ordered a Rotary shirt, they're here. They're in the back. Everybody's name is attached to the shirt that they ordered. You're going to have to sort it out because I'm not going to be here. Just go back and look for your shirt. If there are people who ordered shirts that are not here, John Peterson is going to take those. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Doug. Very good. I can cross you off the list now, okay? All right. Samantha, would you like to talk about what's happening tomorrow night as well as next week?
Good morning, Rotarians. Morning. So as most of you know, hopefully, tomorrow night we will be having a club visioning at Semswa. It is at 5:30. We encourage you to be there around 5:15. We will have pizza. It's already been ordered. So pizza and pasta, some drinks. It's going to be 5:30 to 9. We also do request that if you come that you stay for the entire process. That's the district's request. So if you can make it, I already have a list, which of course I forgot because I was making name tags. But if you do not believe you've signed up, please just let me know. There's plenty of room. We'd love as many of you as there as possible. Now, moving forward, next Tuesday, we will be having our last off-site meeting for this Rotary year at Cobell Library. For those of you who do not know what that is, every once in a while, we will take our meeting to a different location. So for next week, it's at Cobell Library, same time. We will be having breakfast. So I have some sign-up sheets. I have 3. I'm going to just go ahead and distribute it around the room. Just go ahead, sign up. I will also send an email for those that are not here today.
Samantha, how many people do we have signed up for the visioning?
We have 22 people.
22. It'd be really nice to have at least 30 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Really would. This is how we set the tone for the next 2 or 3 years within the club. Yes, Mark. Would you?
And they have, that is their one day that they meet, and they decided not to.
Okay. So if you haven't signed up, please do. It sounds like it's a long time. It's a lot of fun, actually. You get a lot of good ideas come out of it, a lot of good discussion. I remember when Randy did his.
We had some good discussions.
We did. We had some great discussions. All right.
Is the address on this
I'll
thing?
leave it over.
I don't know if the address. Okay, but okay, SEMSWA is on Jordan Road, and it's just north of Broncos Parkway. There's a beautiful wedge-shaped sign out in front on the corner.
Who made that sign?
Oh, I think we did. But the building itself is a wedge shape as well. It's a very modern looking building. So you just turn right into that street. Okay?
Thank you.
Now, I did get a letter from our district governor, and I do want to read it. It's more for Samantha and the program committee than anybody else, but just so we're all aware, our country is entering a very active time politically. Because of the increase in numbers of media avenues available and the constancy of political content, it seems our country is increasingly divided. I wanted to take the time to remind all clubs, members, and leadership that Rotary is a non-political and non-religious organization. Some clubs avoid political and religious programs altogether. Other clubs choose to present issues and candidates to get more information. I suggest if you are a club that presents political or religious issues, you have someone from both sides with equal time in a meeting. We Rotarians are a diverse group of folks politically and religiously, and it's easy to alienate members if only one side of an issue or candidate is the program. Please be mindful that we joined Rotary for service. I encourage you to share this information with your members, blah, blah, blah. So I've shared that with the members, and I can't disagree with anything she said. So, is there any other club business that I've missed? It was a very light week. I didn't get very many phone calls, only 15 or 20. So, okay, so with that, travel gifts? I also want to leave plenty of time to listen to some great guitar music. Well, Mr. Holzman, you made it back alive. Microphone.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, yes.
Aren't you glad you didn't go to the Dominican Republic?
I don't know.
You haven't heard what's been going on?
No.
People dying down there, just getting a scotch out of their mini bar and dying. So, yeah.
Oh, my. I wasn't in Dominican Republic. I went to I went to Madagascar on the other side of Africa, flying east. It was about a 30-hour trip both directions, each way, I should say. And I knew I needed to get a travel gift when I'm there. So
Gotten one for every member in the club.
yeah. So I was in a quandary, knowing that many members here like alcoholic beverages, and not being a drinker myself,
No.
I knew that was not going to be an option. One day, however, while I was at Annaspori, which is the village where we're working, our local guide helper walked in with a liter of rum, and he offered it to the group, and two people suggested that they would like to take it. There are two of us who don't drink, and the first guy took his, and whew, this is powerful stuff. And the second guy smelled it. He said, "Thanks anyway. I'm not going to have any." And then we all egged him on, so he did take a little sip. So I decided that has got to be the gift that I'm going to bring. This is true, illegal, untaxed, local, still-made rum. Hooch, I guess, from the
Madagascar hooch.
right from Annaspori, Madagascar. One of these days I will show you how it's sold. This is the original bottle in which we received it. This is true Madagascar firewater. So I don't know who's supposed to get this, but that's it. I guess I should assure you, neither of the two had any ill effects. So they survived, and so whoever gets to enjoy.
By the way, we're going to have John featured as one of our speakers in the month of July, and so he'll have a report on his trip. So hang on till then, okay? It'll be towards the end of July that we'll have John.
Go ahead, Trip.
One more weekly reminder that the Evite for changing the guard has sort of taken on a life of its own. Apparently, some people have received it 2 or 3 times. So thank you for the ones that have replied.
Trip.
You know, there will be a. If you came to the going away party, you know, it's just live in a regular old neighborhood, so parking will be difficult. I come to think of it, but maybe you want. I'm gonna have a valet and a shovel. Yeah, my 15-year-old would like to valet, so please bring a waiver of some kind. Yeah. And if you're dying to bring something, I thank you for all the folks that have asked. We're not going to have any wine there, so I think we got some wine drinkers. If you'd like to bring a bottle of wine, that would be awesome. Or a dessert, a wine or a dessert.
Trip.
Any of that stuff would be great. Yes, ma'am.
Check your RSVP list because I've gotten 3 invitations and it will not let me leave unless I RSVP. So I'm on there 3 times.
Okay, thank you. I'll and if you see me, if you want to confirm a 4th time, it's okay. Thanks.
Yes. Go ahead, Andres.
So many of you know or may remember last March, Yvonne and I celebrated our 20th anniversary, but we decided to wait for our celebration until the kids were out of school. So we just came back from our 2-week 20th anniversary celebration. We went the first week to Walt Disney World, where we have the pleasure of having all my family and Yvonne's family join us there for a full week of running around and actually confirming it's the crappiest place on earth. But everybody's tired. It was so hot. It rained every day. But it was wonderful, actually.
Have you got the songs out of your head yet?
Absolutely. And then the second week, we went for a cruise, which that was really nice. We really enjoyed it. Went to different islands. And I was thinking, what can I bring to the club that would actually look very nice on one of the baskets that Diane and her team put together? So when we were in Jamaica, I thought about bringing rum, but I was like, nah, that's, you can get that in every corner. So the one thing that I did get was this vase. It's made out of mango wood, and it's actually hand-carved by the people right there on the dock. They're working on doing this little stuff. So that's what I brought you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, Andres. That's great. And we have another travel gift.
Yep. So I went to Key West for a week, and I went to the infamous or famous Hog's Breath Saloon. They're famous for their shirts. Shirts say, Hog's Breath is better than no breath at all. And we have a little beer koozie cup for them. And then I also went to Savannah, and when I was walking around Savannah, I found the coolest sign. The Rotary Club was established in 1914 in Savannah, and they had a great plaque up, and it said that they helped put in the road out to Tybee Island and some of the dike systems and things like that about what all the Rotary Club had done. And while in Savannah, I also went to the best cookie store in the world. They advertise it's Bird Cookies, and I got some peach cooler cookies.
All right. So you got a koozie for that big tall glass of sugarcane juice that John brought back. Any other travel gifts? Had some traveling going on the last couple weeks. All right. So, Mr. Barry, are you going to do Happy Bucks for us?
I am.
All right.
So why don't I start with this little table of ne'er-do-wells. And by the way, we have a guest Rotarian here. And look, he's going right for the wallet. Thank you, Mr. Cottrell. He knew what was coming next. Do you need the jaws of life? I can call the fire department.
I need a mic. All right, I'll give a buck. Just to say that over Father's Day, my wife decided that she wanted to go down with me to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo in Colorado Springs, and we absolutely had a great time. She thought I needed to go see some of my relatives.
Thank you, Greg. Now, Phil, I see you shrinking down and trying to hide. I don't think you should do that. I think you should be happy. Need an... All right, let me find one.
So, last week I was invited to attend another one of the Aspen Institute program. And the Aspen Institute program this time was how to have a better argument. I just participated in the American Enterprise Institute's program a few weeks ago here at the area. And it was one that was create connection across the divide. So we're hearing a lot about this. But as I was walking in, I heard somebody say, and there's Randy Pye. And I turned around and glanced, and then I stopped, and I turned around and glanced again, and it was the president of this Rotary Club, who was the shortest president tenure-wise we ever had. Those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, Nicole Davies, who was here for a week. Actually, she was here for a month as president before she moved. She is back. She is the state librarian now, and I think it's terrific. Unfortunately, when I was talking to her about coming back to the club, her office is downtown, of course, and so she is talking to the Denver club. But she's living in Highlands Ranch, so I think we need to start sending her some emails about the fact that she can come right by here on Tuesday morning, stop here, and then go downtown. But it was great to see her, and she's excited. She's really pleased to be back here.
You want your IOU made up for 100, or would 200 be better?
100 pennies.
Spoken like a true car salesman.
He is a politician, so there are some similarities. More than you can know. Mr. Gross.
A happy buck for our guest. Welcome. Here.
Bruce, Brad. Bruce. All right, hold on.
I got a happy buck for Father's Day. My parents, after 5 years of convincing, are moving closer to me. They still live in the same house they brought me home from the hospital up in north of Longmont up by Berthoud. And so they're moving here this next month. And so I went back there on Sunday to go kind of reminisce at my childhood home one more time. So that was very nice.
So a dollar or $5, Brad? Could we verify all the things happen in the political arena?
No.
There you go. Thank you so much for your generous donation. Mr. Hope.
$1 for our guests. Welcome.
Mr. Wexler.
Yes, $1 for everybody here.
Just happy to be here.
I have 5. The first one, obviously, for a very nice vacation that we had and the opportunity to spend time with the family. The second one for being able to be back here with you guys. It's awesome. And the third, if I'm not mistaken, Judge, you handled my kids changing names. Yes, you did. Thank you for that. Yes. That's true. Very nice to see you and having you with us. Welcome.
I have 2. The first is kind of a happy, sad buck, both, because last Thursday, Jill, our daughter, and her whole family moved to North Carolina. This is the daughter and the children that we moved from Texas here to be close to. We don't know.
Not yet.
Not yet. Anyway, that's the happy sad buck. And the other one's just, it's Tuesday and I'm happy to be here.
Ms. Zing.
Hello. I'm happy to be back. I've been traveling quite a bit. I hosted a 2-day seminar down in Arizona for Rotarians, Elks, and all different kinds of service organizations about estate planning and financial planning and how you can give. And I was so excited that so many Rotarians had that as part of their planning. So talk to your advisors and know that that's an option. I'm using my happy buck for that. But my biggest happy is my son graduated high school, finally. He's on a 12-day, 100-mile canoeing trip up in Canada. So he'll come back and have fun with that. And it's just great to see everybody.
Mr. Livingston.
Well, one of these is for Guitars for the Troops. Thank you in advance. The other is happy birthday to this long list of people. Alan today and the weekends with John Peterson on Saturday.
Very good. Mr. Peterson.
Yes, sir. Happy Buck is for spending Father's Day with my children who are grown up at Dowdy Lake in northern Colorado, and the fact that we taught a lot of trout not to put sharp objects in their mouth.
Mr. Buck.
To our speakers, anxious to hear about it.
You're not speaking yet. And our table was 100%, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. And you're not competitive. Not at all.
Dr. Mark.
First of all, for our guests, thank you for coming today. For David Livingston, who took over for me at the Blue Marble today. And Greg, you mentioned the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, and the last time I was there, the weather wasn't very good, and so they brought the giraffes, which was our favorite exhibit. Okay, their heads are this big, and then the tongue sticks out. And we fed them those waffle things, and then we walked by, and behind us were two German gals, and the giraffe sneezed on them. And you know those umbrellas that are clear? That's what it looked like on top of them. And it was just awful.
Thank you so much for the visual right after breakfast.
Good morning. I am happy ×2 this morning, so I do need an IOU. First, happy and thankful to Phil Chaporis, who gave my fiance Ken and I a tour of the newly remodeled Heritage Eagle Bend. It is fabulous. So, and we will be having our wedding ceremony there. So, Phil, thank you so much for doing that. The second happy buck question, who knows why the day, April 15th, is memorable? Well, not in 2020. In 2020, April 15th will be memorable because it will be the date of the 2020 State of our city. So I will be recruiting volunteers who dream big and in color, like myself, to put together one of the, I'm selling this one, but I will be recruiting volunteers shortly. Thank you.
Flexter.
Yeah, I have a happy buck. It's a congratulations buck to Samurai for her wedding this weekend, which I was very much under the radar. Congratulations.
It was a stealth marriage.
I have one. I was working very, very hard for all of us on Saturday at the Frisco barbecue competition. I hope I'm not the only one who went. Yeah, and my husband was eating more meat than anything.
As should be done at a barbecue competition. She's glowing, people. She's absolutely glowing.
So I have 5. Remember, this is probably my only happy buck from the last 6 months. So for those who didn't know, I did get married on Saturday. It's official. I will be taking his name, so when the program has a compound last name of two names that no one can pronounce, that's because I was marrying a Ghanaian. So his last name is Jose, and yeah, so just call me Sam. It's fine. I'm okay with that. But
That's a great hangman word.
That's right. Exactly. But I'm really happy. We had a very small wedding, had 10 people there. Everyone on my side invited came. The others like switched off. I'm not sure, it's a cultural thing. So, but it was beautiful. The cake, which was provided by Cakehead's Bakery, which I have to thank John Bellum, who's not here, because he brought Cakehead Bakery in to talk.
Yeah.
And their cake was phenomenal. And I will be having pictures sometime next on the weekend, and we'll be posting and sharing them. So, thank you.
Awesome, and congratulations. World Traveler John.
So I have two. One, thanks for being able to be back.
Yeah.
And second, celebrating 42 years of marriage.
Outstanding. Cheryl.
This is for Samantha and Nana. Congratulations. I got to meet Nana 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. The 9th of June. We had a great evening together. And I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Ms. Jessup.
Happy 3. I just want to say thank you, especially to Sarah and Eric. But for what I know, since it was my first time, I think we had a fairly successful first beer outing that we did, and had a lot of turnout there. So I don't know how much we made yet because I haven't talked with Sarah. Do you happen to know, Tim?
I don't think we made more than 1,000, but given the night and the number of people it took, it was a pretty good evening.
Yeah. So I just want to thank everybody for that. I'm also thankful for John Peterson, who made me come out in a torrential downpour yesterday afternoon. But excuse me, I walked into his house because the garage door was just open and said, "Hi, honey, I'm home." And I was just drenched from the rain. But he helped Gordon and I out a lot in preparing our program. So thanks, John.
Gordon.
I have a happy buck for the guest speakers today, which is really nice that they finally got a chance to be here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Mr. Shattuck.
I have $1. Last Thursday I took off and went up Mount Evans, which just recently opened. Went through one cut where the snow was 50% higher than my Forerunner. Had to stop 3 times to let deer go across the road. And I have never seen so many marmots in my life.
Mr. Eunice?
I have 5. One for our guests, actually 2 for our guests. One for Samantha. You didn't tell me. Now I'm hurt. Okay, just so you know. And then I have 2 because we're working on our first major high-rise project downtown, and that includes permitting for signage. We just got our first permit from the city of Denver, which, if you've never gone through the city of Denver for permitting, it is an ordeal. We're still working on our second, but we did get our first, so we can go ahead and install that. So it was kind of a milestone for us because we've never done permitting in Denver before. We've always had someone else do it. What's that?
That's why I do not work.
I don't blame you. Okay, with that, who is anybody here going to introduce our august presenters, or is that up to me?
Jeannie was to do that. I don't know.
Gordon and Deborah are going to do the guitar show.
There we go.
It's really an honor to be here and be part of the club and be a member with you guys. I really don't know whether we're really liked or not, though, because John always makes sure everybody gets there early, gets a little lavalier pinned on, they get to hide the battery pack. He didn't even ask us if we wanted a microphone. I think he probably thought if we talked real quietly, everybody can go home early. Is that right? My buddy. He also handed me this little thing that says you push it.
No regular coffee.
So it's a lot of education here. Anyway, thank you very, very much for letting us come today and be part of your program. Guitars for the Troops. How did it get started? 10 years ago? Probably 10 years ago?
Yeah.
A bunch of guys, troops, came back from Iraq. And one of the main comments that they made was, we're bored over there when we have nothing to do. When we're busy, it's serious, it's real busy stuff. And then we have downtime, and there's nothing to do. And we're real tired of video games, we're real tired of looking at each other. We would like to have some guitars over there to play on when we go back. So they contacted the Musicians Union here in Denver. Musicians Union put out a decree that anybody that has old instruments that they don't want to use anymore, let's bring them down, and I got to be a receiving station for that sort of thing. So people would bring us guitars that they had in their basement and their garages and their barns and everything else, and these things were a wreck. I mean, sometimes you got something that was pretty nice that somebody decided they wanted to get rid of, but in most cases it looked like they were weathered. The necks were like bow and arrows, and I said, we are not going to send this stuff to the troops. Hey, thank you very much for defending our country. Here's a piece of junk, you know, and that's not going to go. So since I own a guitar company and we make guitars, I thought, why not manufacture something that would be ideal for the troops, something that I would want to play, and that's what we did. And so we made a guitar that has what we call a low action. It's easy to play, you don't hurt your fingers. It has a nice tone, and it's built to withstand all the weather changes because it gets hot, gets cold, and so on. So we started making these guitars and putting them together as a package for the troops to take with them to Iraq. And then I ended up getting Deb Jessup as a student. And we got to talking about what I was doing, and I'll let her tell you from that point on.
So in listening to Gordon speak about this project, I could tell that he was really excited, but Gordon wears an awful lot of hats. Running a retail store, a foundation, and it goes on and on and on and on. But what I decided is that I had just become the charter president of the Aurora Fitzsimmons Club. And a lot of clubs like to have a signature project. We got started obviously by other clubs endorsing us, and we adopted some of their programs, but I think it's always nice when a club has their own project. So I took this idea back to the Aurora Fitz Club and said, I'd like this to be our project that we're known for. And it was voted unanimously that we would take it on. Since that time, we have a guitar, as Gordon was stating, and what I did is I went to RI and said, hey gang, I'd like to use, and you do have to get special permission for this, the Rotary emblem here on the bag. And they gave me their permission to use it. So every time a guitar goes out that is from a Rotarian, it has this on the bag. There is also a decal on the inside of the guitar which says it's from Rotary. So every single one gets one. So the whole package is the bag, the guitar, picks, strings, strap, a book that's written by Gordon, so if you don't know how to play, he claims he can teach you in 10 minutes how to play. I've seen it done in 11, but never 10. So in any event, that's the whole package that we send out. What we do, or what has been happening in the past, is a lot of these get sent down to Fort Carson We've taken carloads down there. They go over on the plane. They're given out to the clergy, and they disperse them where they're going. I also want to mention that there is a letter that goes out. So say if you guys or an individual wanted to support one of these packages, a letter would go out with your name on it. I know Rotarians are really big on getting back and knowing where they go. We have to be extra careful in this case because we don't always know, and we don't want to divulge where some of our troops are because we're giving up to the enemy that way. So we're very careful about that, and we do get responses from time to time, which Gordon's going to go through. We do have a short video that will go through this. It is a $200 package. Actually, it's $600 retail package, but we ask for contributions of $200.
So we put together a video that we have on our website, and we'd like to have you watch it for the moment. Okay, and it tells you an awful lot about what we've been doing and what we are doing. If my magic clinker works. I don't have to worry about it. Now John's taking charge. See, this is good. We'll get out of the way.
Many of today's soldiers and veterans are dealing with the cumulative effects of combat. These include traumatic brain injuries, post-traumatic stress, and physical disabilities. To deal with these divergent issues, many are turning to music therapy. One of the more popular forms of music therapy, especially for soldiers and veterans, is the guitar. To support our proud warriors and deliver guitar music therapy, Harvest Guitars for the Troops was born.
We received many requests to provide guitars for the troops in Iraq. Through this, we formed Guitars for the Troops. We believe very strongly in the power of music therapy and the excitement for the guitar.
Harvest Guitars for the Troops provides free acoustic guitar packages to active duty soldiers serving around the world, wounded warriors recuperating from their injuries, and U.S. military veterans who may be suffering from the invisible wounds of TBI or PTSD. And we provide these wonderful packages at no cost to the soldier or veteran.
It's a wonderful program. It's geared for our returning warriors, and it's geared for people who really do need help.
The Guitars for the Troops program is an excellent program. It allows soldiers to learn guitar, you know, when they're going through some tough times. You know, it's guitars can be your best friend at some points in life.
At the heart of the troop package is a Harvest acoustic dreadnought guitar designed in Inglewood, Colorado. It's been custom made to withstand the rigors of tough environments, constructed from specially selected tone woods and durable chrome-plated steel tuners.
Hi, my name's John McClellan, and I'm a touring guitarist and educator, and I just want to tell all of you folks that this Harvest guitar is just fantastic. It's got beautiful, beautiful rich color and sustain, and it's very durable. Just so impressed with this instrument.
It's a wonderful guitar. I've just tried playing it a little bit. The action's wonderful.
The Harvest guitar, as it may be a beginner guitar, it definitely is made for quality.
This is a fantastic guitar for any guitar player to pick up and play.
The Harvest Guitar Troop Package, valued at over $600, contains everything a soldier needs to start playing guitar and enjoying the benefits of music therapy. The Troop Package includes a brand new Harvest guitar, a soft case, shoulder strap, guitar strings, picks, and instructional CDs.
It really comes fully equipped so that I can go ahead and enjoy what I'm doing.
A tax-deductible donation of only $200 will deliver a complete Harvest Guitar Troop Package, absolutely free, to an active duty soldier or veteran.
For every $200 raised,
we deliver a Harvest Guitar Troop package to soldiers or veterans so that they can enjoy the magic of music.
It gets me feeling like I'm giving something back to my country, which is extremely important. I think America owes these warriors an enormous debt, and the guitar is just a small part of helping them to heal.
You can't tell how very thankful I am to Guitars for the Troops for allowing me to have this instrument to help me in what I'm going to do in trying to maintain my music, maintain my serenity, and maintain my peace.
And I can't say thanks enough for Guitars for the Troops. You put those guitars in the hands of my soldiers and help facilitate their ability to transition successfully, either back to the fight or back out into our communities.
I'm really glad that the guitars are donated. You know, I wanted to play guitar for a while, but I just didn't have the money at the time to get a guitar, and it definitely helped us out a lot.
Help us give back to the proud warriors who have sacrificed so much to serve our country.
This is so important. Help us send a Harvest Guitar Troop package to soldiers or veterans throughout the world. A beautiful gift, a valuable gift.
And it's my honor to be involved in this program, and I would highly recommend anyone that's looking to help our country and our warriors, please consider donating to this fantastic program.
Donate today to Harvest Guitars for the Troops and help provide the magic of music to those who serve.
Just to let you know, we do sell these T-shirts along. For Rotarians, they're $20. Otherwise, they're $25. But I wanted to mention one thing, and that is that we have gone to 2 international conventions. We went to New Orleans, and we also went to Toronto. And in New Orleans, I didn't know it until after I got the Rotarian magazine that came back, but we were listed as the #1 project in the United States that year and the top 100 throughout the world.
Just to mention a little bit on the T-shirt, which is why did we choose the picture? We have it's a picture of this. Our guitar's on the left, or your right, sorry. And the little mandolin that's there was made by Gibson Musical Instrument Company, which is a major company out there, called Army Navy. And it's a mandolin that they made during the Second World War and would parachute them out and drop them off all over Europe for soldiers to carry around in their backpacks so they'd have a musical instrument to use. And that's one of the instruments that's in my museum, and we adopted that along with our guitar to show that it's a tradition carried on, you know, still from World War II.
I know that Tim is really anxious for us to start playing. I wanted to mention one other thing, and that is that Gordon and I are planning, if we get the support of this club, of going to the International Convention in Hawaii and setting up a booth there. And if this club would so like it, I'd love to have you come join us. It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of fun. When we were in New Orleans, we had guys that were just almost like bodyguards come up, lift you up off the ground, and start crying because they said, I did not commit suicide because I got your guitar. Not much you can say to that, but it's one of the rewards that you get for doing a program like this.
It spreads an unbelievable amount of friendship at the Rotary conventions as well. And the one that we did in New Orleans was really very, very interesting. We played a lot. We were there on the floor for about 8 hours at a time and played most of the time. And it would attract people into the booth. The following convention was being held in Thailand. And during one of the sessions while we were playing, we had about 5 or 6 Taiwanese come around, and they were standing around looking at us and couldn't speak English. We couldn't speak Thailandish, whatever. And so we finished the song, and they walked over to me, and this gal in wonderful English said, "Play John Denver?" Yeah, we can play some John Denver. You know Rocky Mountain High? And so we said, yes, we would do that. And this group of Taiwanese stood there, and we sang Rocky Mountain High, every verse. They knew every verse. And it's a long song. And they sang this with us until we ran out of the song. And I said, in my English, how come you all know John Denver? And this one who could kind of communicate said that in Thailand, they are not allowed by the government to play any American music on their radios. Nothing. Except John Denver. Go figure that one out. And so they knew every John Denver song that was available, and I think we sang 6 of them while they were there. What a way to communicate.
If you didn't know all the verses by the time you finished, you did.
Yeah. But what a way to communicate, and what a way to connect with the people of the world. The other occasion happened there that we had a gentleman come over, and they were from Russia, and they had a booth there also, and I don't remember. There were little Russian gadgets that they brought. And they asked us, they said, would it be okay if my friend played one of your guitars? We said, of course. So he sat down and played some Russian tune and sang and just had a ball. Then he had another one, and he was there for about 20 minutes. And then they stood up, thanked us, and left. About an hour and a half later, a young man comes over from that booth who could speak English and brought us a very nice wooden Russian egg and said, thank you for letting my friend come over and play your guitars and be part of your booth. We would like you to have this from us. And that's very special when you have that kind of communication. I wanted to read to you one of the letters that we received some time back, and it's a very interesting letter. So we have it here. You can take a look at it. But it says, I would like to personally thank you for your support for U.S. military members serving overseas. I also want to thank you for the guitars you sent to me and the soldiers who received them. Let's see if I read it right. And soldiers who received them will be, didn't write this right, send a note to you shortly. I cannot tell you how these guitars are going to help build relationships between friends and allies. I cannot say that after a year I will be the greatest guitarist, but thanks to you anyway. I can say that the smiles on my family's faces that Daddy can at least play a guitar will be priceless. I can say that learning something new, even in this environment, is essential to stress relief and changing up the monotony of daily operations. And I can say that using this gift from the citizens of Colorado means more to me than all the gear I get from the government. Many times the only thing on TV you see is negativity of war, from bombers and their effects on the utter savagery caused by man. Soldiers see this and say, why don't they, the media, show the good that we are doing? They don't show the water and candy we pass earnestly to Afghan children. They don't videotape the weekly visits to the schools and various ministries that we do willingly, and more often than not, optionally, because we believe in what we are doing. We look back and sometimes ask ourselves, does anybody back there understand what we are doing? These guitars, these gifts, in my opinion, are a way of saying that you believe in us. The look in the eyes of the soldiers who received these guitars were priceless, Mrs. Jessup. This was to her. I don't get letters sent to me. To know that there are people who look beyond that, the media, look beyond what the media tells them, and they see what we are doing, gives us, the soldier, a feeling of comfort and relief. Your selfless service and support to us through these guitars reinforces the fact that selfless service is not just a military thing. As an American, it's universally known, though not universally practiced. You, ma'am, and your organization are a testament to that and I cannot thank you enough for these wonderful guitars. Let's see. They talk about the other guitars that we're looking forward to having the guitars to play, and that was it. So this was signed by Brooke Bedell, Major, U.S. Air Force, or U.S. Army. Okay.
I met Brooke's parents because they're a member of the Boulder Club at one of the district conferences. Gordon and I go to all pets and set up a booth. We go to all the district conferences and set up a booth. We go around to different Rotary clubs and put on this performance, and it's amazing. We don't just want it to be this club or that club. We've got a club that's out of Ukiah, and they do this. A lot of people now are in different clubs are putting it as a line item on their budget. So automatically we get money from them. Pete and Marilyn Coors gave us a donation this year. So I'm trying to get the numbers up. My goal for this we have sent out now a little bit over 725 guitars. My goal would be 1,000 a year. And once I do that for 2 years in a row, then I want it 2,000. I want this to be as big as Shelter Box. And I think it can be with your support. One other quick thing before we start playing, and that is that when the guitars go over, it's kind of out of our hands as to what happens, because a lot of times the troops will sign the guitar and that'll stay with the platoon, or the person who is playing gets to take it and it goes wherever. Keep in mind that we do send out guitars to different APO addresses. So if you happen to know somebody serving, it costs a little bit more because of the mailing and the postage, but we will send out to an individual and it goes to an APO address. So in fact, I need to go back to Gordon's store today and we need to get about 3 or 4 out. There is a website where individuals can go on and they can put in their application if they want to receive one. Anybody here serve in the military? I can't thank you enough for your service.
We find that guitar, as you know, is a one-on-one instrument. So as an individual gets this, it becomes a very personal thing. It's also a shareable instrument. It's 1 on 2, 1 on 10, 1 on 100, which is what we're trying to do with you today and show you how we can share our instruments with you guys. And that's also why we go to Bruce Springsteen concerts, I guess, and Garth Brooks and so on, who was just here, because one person, one guitar entertains 84,000 people. And that works really, really well. Music therapy does work. And we've had some letters where we really have saved some people's lives, and that's pretty important. The guitars that we're playing are Harvest guitars as well. We like the sound of these things. They really, really sound pretty. I hope you'll enjoy them. And we've got a couple tunes that we would like to play for you. And then we'd like to have you join us. And okay, we'd like to feature Miss Deborah. To start with, put the pressure on her. Want to do Let Me Tender? Okay. We're going to sit down a little bit rather than just stand up. We're not rock and rollers. It was nice, though, by the way, to see that you thought we are a rock and roll band, because you all started sitting at the far end of the building to start with. Thank you. Thank you. She agonized over that a lot, so you were a nice audience. Like to play a little tune. I'm not going to introduce what it is. You'll have to recognize it.
This is a song called, that I learned when I was touring in China, called Tuni.
Meet Patrick. All right.
This is the participation part.
Okay. All right, we want you to put your hands together, stand up, clap, throw babies in the air, suck on ice cubes in 4/4 time. We don't care. Okay, we've made this kind of a short version, but this land is your land. You all know that one, so let's give it a try.
This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me those golden valleys. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was wonderful, especially when you end on time. That was perfect. That's right. Now, you know you're not done yet. Gordon and Deborah, could you please come up here?
I will be writing a grant this year. See if I can get
Let me present them with this first.
I've done it 3 times already.
Okay. Okay, so as you guys should know by now, we do donate books to a small library up in North Denver, and the book plate just like this will be put in one of the new books in your honor. Thank you very much. Now, who gets...
And I'm glad to hear it's North Denver because I'm from North Denver.
Who gets to pick the
She's a good picker.
winning ticket?
And if it's my own?
It's all right.
Then maybe.
It's fine.
Go ahead.
No, it'll look like it's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
096.
All right, John McCarty. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it, guys.
Got my tickets. You get a chance to put your hand in the bag.
Come on, John, make it happen.
I see it. I see it.
Blue. No.
Aw, that's a shame.
Thanks for playing.
Okay, before we conclude the meeting, I was going through our mail, and we did get a letter from the Brain Injury Hope Foundation. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Brain Injury Hope Foundation, we want to thank you and your organization for your very generous gift of $1,000 to the Brain Injury Hope Foundation to partially fund a 2019 Survivor Series. No goods or services were exchanged for this donation. Your contribution will make a significant impact on the lives of those recovering from mild to moderate traumatic brain injury in Colorado. So that's your foundation dollars at work, okay? So we should share all of these letters with membership as they come in. Yes, ma'am.
I mention that if anybody wants to, there's a brochure on the table about our program, what we did. If you know of a club or an organization that would like to, that's looking for speakers, we'd be happy to go out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And one other reminder is we do have a food drive this next Saturday. Who's handling that? Yes, this next Saturday, right? And have you got enough volunteers now? Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, would you please stand for the things we think, say, and do? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? With that, go out and have a great week.